Welcome back, my snaily friends. My name is Lavinia. You can call me Lav. And today we are going to discuss top 10 things from Amazon that I simply adore. And I use 90%, if not all, of these items on this list every single day. I've gotten a lot of questions from you guys about where I get my filter media, where I get my different snacks besides from crayfishempire.com for my snail brood, as well as a bunch of other items that I use. So I thought I would share with you all where I get them. Surprise! Amazon. Jeffrey Bezos. They got the good prices. So let's jump into it. There is no order of importance on this list. Like I said, I use everything on this list every single day. And also, just a quick disclaimer, I am recording this voiceover out in my she shed where I normally record my voiceovers, and it is pouring right now. So if you hear some rain, enjoy the ambiance. First up, we have snacks. Let's talk snacks. This is where I get crab cuisine. Crab cuisine is definitely a favorite of all invertebrates, I find. Shrimp, snails, mystery snails go crazy for this stuff. It's good for adults, it's good for babies, and this 3-pack of crab cuisine is really the most bang for your buck you're going to get. Another fun thing is from Invert Aquatics. They offer a lot of different fun blends for your invertebrates. Both of these I have tried, and both of them my brood adored. They are very budgetly priced at about $6 for this bag. And that way, if you try it and your snails don't like it, well, you didn't get too much at one time. A house favorite of ours here is the Aquatic Arts algae wafers. Wow, it is pouring. These are sort of on the higher end price for an algae wafer, but they are definitely a house favorite. All right, next on the list, we have all the Seachem products. I get asked frequently what different products I put into my tank to keep my KH and GH and pH up, and my secret is Seachem. This is not sponsored. Reach out, Seachem, if you want. No, just kidding. I adore these products. I can't tell you. I have a little bin. I have like 10 bottles. They're all in my rotation. First up is Safe. Safe is the concentrated powder form of Prime. You get a gazillion times bang for your buck with Safe versus Prime. It does smell the same as Prime, which if you know, you know, right? Don't spill it. But you can do thousands of gallons with the powdered bottle of Safe. And again, it is the exact same thing as Prime. I know I'm repeating myself, but I am a Safe pusher. Use it. It's the exact same thing as Prime. Use it in emergency. Use it as a water change. It's really wonderful, and you'll have it for a while because there's tons of it. This is my secret weapon, the Malawi Victoria Buffer. I always say it wrong, so forgive me if I say it wrong. This keeps my pH in the happy zone of 7.8 to 8.4. It's perfect. Now, pH, we got that covered. KH was a very tricky thing for me to figure out when I first started, and I cheated. I use this alkaline buffer. I have found, over the past 2 years I've been using this, and I have found that this stabilizes my KH and keeps it at a good level so that the GH doesn't drop. Now, to maintain my GH, I adore Equilibrium. I use Equilibrium in every single one of my tanks, at every water change. It does cloud your water just a little bit for just a little while, but I'll tell you, you do your water change at night, you wake up the next day and that water is crystal clear, has all the minerals that you want in your water, and all the minerals that your mystery snails are going to want in the water as well. This is another one of my secret weapons. I'm telling you, I get asked quite often, what are the things you put in your tanks to help your snails have healthy shells, maintain a healthy growth, with a nice strong growth structure? This is my secret. Seachem products. I give them so much money. Yeah. So again, Seachem, if you're listening, ring-a-ding-ding. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Kind of. Look at how much stuff look at the wonderful things. It's just basically pure calcium and magnesium. Wonderful. Put it in there. The plants love it. None of my tanks have CO2, and I will attest to Equilibrium helping my plants be amazing, in addition to my snails be amazing. It's probably the iron that's helping with the plants, but I'm just going to go with its magic. It's magic. Next up on the list is something that every single freshwater hobbyist should have in their arsenal, and that is the API Freshwater Master Test Kit. It tests everything that you need in the general range of making sure you have a nice, healthy, cycled tank, pH, ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate, and you should really have this. It is very important to know what's going on in your tank, and this will give you your answers that you're looking for. Next up on my list is my favorite siphon of all time. I also get asked, hey, Lav, how do you get so much poop out of your tanks without draining the entire tank within 5 minutes? The secret is I use a siphon that is made for a nano tank. This is the very small, it's like the smallest version of the Python siphon that they have. I love this thing. I buy it like 6 of them at a time, and I really love them. I couldn't find it for a little while on Amazon about a year and a half ago. So when I found it again, I did. I bought 10 of them. They're just so cheap, and I adore them. And again, they remove more poop than you can imagine without draining your tank completely empty. Super plus. Next up on my list is filter media. Another question I get asked a lot is, hey, how do you cover up the intake on your hang on the back? Or, hey, how do you cover up the holes that are in your lid? This is how I do it. I buy this giant sheet of very big, it has like large pores. So I cut this down to size. It is quite thick. I think it's about 2 inches thick. So you can cut it right down the middle. If you only need about 1 inch thick, you can really cut it to any size that you need. That's why I love it so much. I also cut this type of filter media up a lot. This is from Aquaflow, and I adore this stuff. I cut it to size for all of my hang on the backs. This is what I use instead of those silly cartridges that are just a super money trap. And I use this and the black filter media as well as ceramic balls in my hang on the backs, and everything's fine. Now this type of polyfill, I use this if I'm out of the green and white stuff. I will use this, but I primarily use this polyfill to ship my snails. It creates a nice, comfy cloud for them to travel on. Next up, we have a pH dipstick. Listen, if you have more than one snail tank, or if you're obsessed about pH like I am, don't chase the pH, Lav. Don't chase it. Let it come to you. You're going to want to get a dipstick. I check my pH every single day, and I was flying through the liquid that comes with the API Master Test Kit. So I decided, hey, I'm going to throw a little bit of money at this. And for $13, I think it is, I got this pH dipstick. You do have to calibrate it yourself. It's pretty straightforward. I will say if it's ever off, it's only off by maybe 0.1 or 0.2. But otherwise, it really does a wonderful job of just keeping me informed of what the pH is doing in my tanks. Next up is something I have mentioned in other videos before, and that is the Wonder Shell. This thing really is wonderful, with every pun intended. This is sort of just a beginner's way to keep the GH up in your water. If you're not comfortable with using any of the Seachem products yet, and you're not really sure how that's going to work out or how much you should use, grab a couple Wonder Shells. They come in all different sizes. If you have a 20 gallon, 30 gallon, 40 gallon, 50 gallon, they have the large size. It also depends on how many snails you have in your tank. I would say if you have over 20 snails in your tank, the large size would do you well. They also come in a medium size and a mini size as well if you have a nano tank with only 1 or 2 snails in it. Really, really a wonderful product and very beneficial, especially for the beginner snail keeper. Next up is another secret weapon of mine. This is called polyfilter. I actually learned about this at the very beginning of my hobby when I was searching the internet for information. I learned about this from Rachel O'Leary. This stuff is magic. It changes color when you put it in your tank. You just let it float in your tank. You cut a little piece, let it float in your tank, and it will change color and let you know what's going on in your tank, good or bad, what might be in your tank. It also removes any harmful things that you don't want in your tank. It removes excess ammonia as well as any medications and heavy metals. And the fun part is it changes color, so it lets you know what's going on in your tank. All the instructions are on the back. I love that stuff. Next up is something I buy. I should have stock in this stuff, and that is Knox brand gelatin. I usually buy it in bulk. I buy these 2, I believe it's 16 ounce tubs for about $20. I'm rounding up. And I go through this so much that if you go to the grocery store and you buy the packets, you really, if you have a lot of snails, you're really only going to be able to make Snello maybe 2 or 3 times. But if you get this in bulk like this, I mean, you can be pumping out Snello, you can make calcium blocks, you can make Snello jerky, you can make all sorts of fun stuff with the gelatin. I also received a comment asking if you could use agar powder. I think that would be okay, although I've never used it personally myself. That's really just a vegetable-based gelatin, and I think that would be perfectly fine to use. Last but not least, let me tell you, I have searched the globe for wonderful breeder boxes. For a breeder box that suits my needs for my little itty-bitty mystery snails, and this is the one. It's from Pawfly. I have bought many different brands of breeder boxes off of Amazon over the past 5 years, and this one is the best one, really. It's very cheap. I think it's only $7, and it has the slots on the side are not too big that you get all of the baby snails escaping, but they are just big enough to keep everyone in, as well as keeping the water inside the breeder box nice and clean and having good flow. It does come with all the accoutrements if you were to breed fish, but I take all that stuff out and I put it to the side and I use the empty breeder box, and that's what I use to raise up my baby mystery snails. And I really find that this Pawfly brand is the best one I have found. I like it a lot. And sometimes I use suction cups, sometimes I don't. It's so great, it just stays to the wall. All right, bonus time. This little guy, look at him. He's appeared in a couple of my videos. I love them. He might not be a mystery snail, but look at that little face. How could you not put a little plant in him or anything at all? You could put a rock in the back and he would still be cute and put him on a shelf. He's adorable and you need him. So that's it for this one, guys. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for being here. I really appreciate it. And stay tuned because the content is going to be coming out faster than stuff flying out of an Amazon warehouse. Thanks again, my snaily friends. And don't forget to hit that like button on your way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't. And as always, hug your snails. I'll see you real soon.